Right now. We also have Melanie Hold on the phone, and she's over in that area, and she can definitely join us and let us know what she's experiencing. Melanie, are you there?
We sure are. Right now, we're headed across the Banana River here on the Pineda Causeway. I can tell you, the conditions, change moment by moment out here. At the moment, we don't have any heavy downpours, but we see, gusts of wind as well as downpours at certain times. But of course, we just pull over and seek some shelter from buildings from time to time. But even since this morning, we've been out here since probably about 6:37 a.m. Even out here on the road, I can tell you there's very little traffic, and obviously that is a good thing. We have seen some cars out here. Some of them, of course, emergency vehicles. When we get those big gusts of wind, of course, we get those palm frond sounds, sometimes branches as well. And already, it's early here, and we've seen some traffic lights out in the area. So, of course, if you are out here, anybody out here who's by now should be still use caution.
Oh, no. I'm not hungry. I don't need it. Like, I have 1 minute.
Like you said, I
have 1 minute. But I'm 4 minutes. I'm hungry. I need some food.
The tornado potential winds are picking up with these cells as well. They're starting to get some tropical storm force gusts and then sustained tropical storm force winds when we get these stronger feeder bands moving on shore. But they're going to be lashed. The Brevard County coastline is going to be whipped around the remainder of the day, and really it's just beginning.
Yeah, it's just now really starting to pick up. We've noted that our southern zones will be first in line, and that's exactly what's being played out right now with the tornado warnings that have been kind of on and off throughout much of the morning here at the Brevard.
And also getting from viewers talking about the conditions there in Rockledge, also saying that it's getting very dicey there as well.
Yeah, why you have to do that? Turn the flashlight off.
This is it. This is what we were talking about. The squalls moving on shore and embedded within those squalls.
Turn the flashlight off.
Just real quick on the track again, guys. We're just seeing that basically right around Melbourne. Now, I don't see it as strong, but again, we're also very close to the radar beam, so we kind of get a little cone here. We lose some of the data, but I've been tracking that moving through Melbourne, the western sides of Oak County, and then towards Aurora at around 11:39. So here's Palm Shores, just south of there, crossing I-95. This is 518, if you know that area near Melbourne and the Melbourne airport. So watch out for that. Indian looking okay. The Indian Atlantic area, I think, be curious to see if there's any damage or reports of damage out of that. But there's, I call them SLCs, scary looking clouds. If you live in Brevard County, you're seeing a lot of those right now. I know it can be a little bit frightening out there. They're low base, dark clouds. You might see a little bit of a lowering coming out of those, and that's what we are looking at. Hard to interpret sometimes as far as picking out each individual one, but that is going to be what you're going to experience in Brevard County the remainder of the day, and then that kind of environment will move inland, and we'll see the same thing here in Orlando in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Second half of the day from Orlando and points northward actually will experience that as well. And just to keep in mind where this is actually headed, Aurora, we know that you're in the path, but anywhere here along Wickham Road, just off to the west of Melbourne, it looks like that particular cell is going to be heading in that direction. So again, seek shelter if you live in or around the Wickham Road area and near I-95 and 518.
And again, we are on the bad side of the storm. We're talking about the wind, but the tornado threat is going to be significant as well. We've already had multiple warnings out for Brevard County. On the right-hand side of your screen, friends, that is going to be Cocoa Beach that we're looking at right now. We also have the Port Canaveral Cam. So those are two different views. And again, the Port Canaveral Cam will really tell the story of the lashing of the wind and the rain. We are looking offshore right now. You can just see that the rain is beating our lips.
And my question many people may have at home as well is, okay, so we're hours away, right, from the eye getting closer on the western side of Florida, and we're already seeing this. Did you anticipate this happening at this hour, and will it get more intense as it gets closer?
Brevard County has been under a tornado watch since midnight, so the answer is yes. The timing is playing out, and again, this is because Irma is so expansive. It's so large in nature, and these bands are coming on, rotating. It's the northeast quadrant. We talked about that. And these feeder bands will actually only pick up in intensity. These are just the first ones that are starting to show enough rotation for the Weather Service offices to begin issuing tornado warnings.
Yeah, and that's why we try to prepare you for the long duration of Irma. Since it is so large, we're already starting to feel the impacts and have been in here into some of our southern zones, and it's going to continue as we go through the day. In fact, we're going to be dealing with Irma right on into the early part of Monday, unfortunately. So we're in for the long haul. Next several hours, we're going to see conditions deteriorating. If you don't see much in the way of stormy air conditions in your area, chances are you will before too long. Of course, as far as the winds and all of that is concerned, we're going to notice those winds getting stronger later tonight. But through the afternoon, definitely some tropical storm force wind gusts and maybe even some locally higher winds, depending on any of those storms that come in.
Yep, I mean, that's how it's going to play out, Ebony. And again, for Brevard County, Osceola County, Polk County, you are the ones that have the tornado threat as we speak. As those bands move north, we'll include the metro in that. It'll generally be through the afternoon hours, if not early evening. But the tornado risk could last well into the overnight hours of Monday morning. This is something that we talked about. Harvey was a completely different system, but just to show you something, the Weather Service office in Houston issued, I believe, over 100 tornado warnings. I hope you don't get that, but it just shows you that these are prolific tornado producers as they move on shore. They're not large tornadoes, but the sheer number of them obviously keeps us busy and should keep you on your toes as well.
Oh, most definitely, and that's why it's important to have a way to get alerts. Of course, we're going to stay with you throughout the duration of this, and anytime there's a threat, we'll definitely make sure that we pass it along. Of course, that threat will be with us all day, but I'm just saying as far as those warnings. So that's why it's important to have maybe a weather radio in the event that you do lose power and lose us, or even our WFTV weather app, and set your alert so that you can get these warnings as they move into your area.
Okay, so I'm just looking at this again. It's just coming on the northern sides of the radar site. So basically Aurora Road, just west of O'Galley. There's still a little bit of rotation. We've lost the signature a little bit there for you, but I just again want to track it out as it moves up to the north here. I did track that around 35 now. Okay, so it's a little bit, and I did bring this arrow, this window down just so we could track Brevard County. But basically through Aurora right now, then it crosses I-95. It does get into a little bit more rural areas of Brevard County. Obviously, you go west of I-95. That's where you typically see our population centers are east of I-95 and along the Barrier Island. So hopefully this won't impact too many more people. We're going to keep an eye on, I know our crews, including Melanie Holt, they're going to be following up on what might have happened in the Aurora or O'Galley, especially Danny Atlantic. Danny Atlantic, I think, had the strongest winds as they came through. So we'll see if we get any actual damage reports, guys.
Rusty, I just want to pass along that we're just getting reports now about 6 mobile homes that have been destroyed in the Palm Bay area, and we have Channel 9's Melanie Holt on the way to that as well.
And we're going to figure out exactly how that happened and if it was what you guys were talking about, Rusty.
Well, again, this is a perfect example of why you don't stay in a mobile home.
Yeah.
Because hurricanes breed tornadoes, and those tornadoes will absolutely devastate a mobile home. Again, very hard to pinpoint, and the majority of the mobile homes will generally be okay, but you don't want to risk it.
No, and that's why.
Shelter in a mobile home.
Not at all. It's portable. It can lift up here easily, and that is why we have those mandatory evacuations for mobile homes, even for Orange County. So hopefully, everyone that was able to took heed and got out of those and got to a more sturdier structure.
I mean, that's exactly why. I mean, regardless of the winds that you're going to experience in the area, they're all high enough to cause significant damage, if not destroy mobile homes. So we hope that those people in those mobile homes were not in there, obviously. So, friends, we're going to keep a close eye on that. We're going to reset it back to Georgia, Vanessa. Right now, I think that warning that we have, guys, the rotation is beginning and it's moving into a rural area, but we're going to be monitoring additional storms moving on shore, which could, again, in a very short order, prompt additional tornado warnings.
All right, fantastic. Ebony, Rusty, thank you guys so much. And while they continue to monitor potential devastation and tornado activity and all that, we're going to now talk about something that's already been happening in South Florida. On my Facebook page, a neighbor at a building down there has posted a picture of water in the kitchen sink. And you see the water in the kitchen sink, in a kitchen, in an apartment, in a building, a block from
12 p.m. midnight.
Like this. The water is sweating.
After
as if you were carrying it in a pan to a room. It is sweating. So that is just what's happening down in South Florida right now.
To tell you about something else, we've been telling you about preparations along the construction sites and what's being done to keep those around them safe. That is a really big issue there in South Florida, in the Miami area, where they have a whole lot of those really high cranes.
It was a huge issue, which is why I moved my mom and my family out of downtown Miami for obvious reasons, but also because of all the construction. Let's find out exactly what happened. Channel 9 anchor Jamie Holmes, busy since this morning. He's still right here in the studio. Jamie, winds in Miami causing service damage. Look at this. I mean, this says it all right here. Look at this. This is one of those cranes, and you can see all of the skyline in Miami. And snapped in half. Now, these cranes are actually designed for winds of up to 145 miles an hour. So this one is obviously notwithstanding that at this particular amount. There's 10,000 pounds of counterweight, counterbalance right now on this crane, and the concern is for all the construction crews down in Miami, they're saying, look,